Hello, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to MK Communities Brokerage. My name is Mohammed. In this video, we're gonna talk about part two on New York State driving school instructor tests. Like I said in part one, the driving school instructor test is for those individuals that are planning to become driving school instructors. Common sense, the title in New York City, or should I say New York State. In order to become a driving school instructor, you do need certain qualifications, such as a high school diploma. You need to take a written test. You need to take a road test. The reason for those tests are basically to see if you are well versed on knowledge on the road structures, on the road. What should I say? On the rules, regulations, should I say? So all these comes into factor when you're gonna take the test. So part one, I covered the basics, introduction. Obviously, I'm not gonna go over everything again. But part one, I did cover summarizing points on how to take the test, where to apply to take the test, what are the requirements, what to do, where to go, and this study material. So this is going to be part two. So I've already talked about certain points in part one on the test things, and I'm going to go over part two, which is this right now. So obviously, as we all know, if you're trying to become a driving school instructor, you should know some of the rules and regulation on the road. Obviously, operating the car and following the street regulation, and obviously teaching the students as well makes a big factor as well. So let's get started over here. Maintaining the car in sound operating conditions through routines, car and servicing should include attention to. So again, whenever you're an instructor, you need to include special instructions and also special attention to battery electrical system, obviously the braking system, the car interiors and exterior system, the cooling system, the drivetrain, the exhaust system, the lights, the oil level, the steering and suspension system, tires and wheels, windshield, windows and mirrors, and windshield wipers. The reason for this is you should know a little bit more than a regular driver. Obviously, if those people that did take the New York State driving test, you don't have to go through all this. But since you are planning to become an instructor, you need to know a little bit more about it. Tires should be rotated every 5,000 miles to ensure even wear. Meaning every 5,000 miles, you should replace the tires. Under inflation, tires becomes a life-threatening situation, especially when they blow out, especially when you're driving. So keep that in mind. And it also might skid more easily, especially when there's less traction on the road. Keep that in mind. Every person has a driving behavior. You know, people drive. Some people roll through a red light. Some people roll through a stop sign. Some people stop. Some people stop for 3 seconds. Everyone has a driving behavior. Your goal is to have a good amount of positive driving behavior that you could teach your students, especially when they're trying to learn from you. One of the goals that's stated over here is maintaining a safe following distance. That's one of the main goals. Be ready to slow and stop the vehicle, identify potential problems, communications, avoid skid, and pass safely. Behaviors is use 2-second rule for maintaining the safe following distance, for slowing the stopping the vehicle, cover the brakes, scan and use mirrors, signals. All these are goals and behaviors, obviously. Having good goals and behaviors can make a big difference between life and death situations, especially when you're on the road. Remedials. Examples are slowing the vehicle after brake failures, handling a skid, remove foot from accelerator, and steer. A lot of times, people, when you're driving, especially big tractor trailers, your vehicle may skid. The first thing they tell you is take the feet off from the brakes. When you take off the brakes, automatically the skidding part will come close to traction on the road. You press the brakes and everything will go down from there. So keep this in mind. Removing your feet from the accelerator and steering it, and obviously taking the foot off the brake, can make a big difference. There's a note: risk management and other concepts should be taught together with the skills and or maneuvers they are related to. C. Drivers can improve their decisions making with the Motorcycle Safety Foundation (SEE) strategy and 3-step process used to help analyze the surrounding, anticipate potential problems, and make appropriate judgment, applying them correctly in varied driving situations. Search, evaluate, and execute. What is search? Well, search is aggressively ahead, to the sides, and behind to identify factors that could cause increased risk and avoid potential hazards even before they arise. What is an example? Well, some examples could this be oncoming traffic. You know, you see an oncoming traffic in front of you, you might think that, you know what, this might be, you're searching for it, you're looking, analyzing, you know what, that might be a problem. And obviously, that's where you're searching for a way to maneuver to another situation. to better place. Again, traffic approaching from behind, or hazardous road condition. You see roads have bumps, like a lot of rocky bumps. You know that you're searching for it. You know that if you drive too fast, your vehicle might end up getting damaged, or might end up getting stuck in a pothole, which cause serious damage to you and the vehicle, obviously. So keep this in mind. This is where you're searching for. These are some of the things factors that could happen. Evaluate. Well, evaluators are think about how hazards can interact to create risk for you. Anticipate potential problems and have a plan to reduce risk. Evaluate potential problems and make plans in your mind to deal with the things that might happen. Don't think of evaluating as guessing. Think of it as reading the situation to minimize risk of collision. Well, some of the examples they give you: road and surface characteristic, potholes, guardrails, bridges, location of telephone poles, street lights, and trees. This is something you could evaluate. You could see that there might be a potential problem. Obviously, this might be an issue. Potholes obviously is one of the major factors that that this might be a problem. Traffic control device, again, look for traffic signals, including regulator signs, warning signs, and pavement marking. These are helping you out, especially when you're driving on the road. Execute. Carry out your decision to minimize risk. Obviously, to create more space and minimize harm from any other hazard. Adjust your position is one of them. Add or direction by changing lanes if necessary. Adjust your speed by accelerating, stopping, or slowing. Again, if you're on the busy road or you're going on an empty highway and suddenly you see there's a hill, it's better just to execute. Obviously you want to search, evaluate, and execute from there. You want to slow down because you can't see ahead of you. There is a situation ahead of you, but if you execute in a good example way, what I'm saying, it might make a big difference. A motor sees a bicycle. They give you an example over here. Traveling on the same side of the road and going in the same direction. Knowing that bicycles may serve into the roadway to avoid hazard, the driver scans the surrounding, gets ready to brake if necessary, and moves to the left portion of the lane or changes lane as precaution. Again, this is the main factor. Driving requires your full attention. You have to let the students know about it. Part 3, driving task, skills and maneuver. Students should be taught to perform the following tasks safely and lawfully in various environments. Pre-operative procedures and basic controls. Again, these are observations. These are systems and control. Pre-operative actions, starting the engine, shifting and accelerating, steering and running, speed control, downshifting, stopping and braking. Normal driving maneuvers, obviously, is following, passing, entering traffic, leaving traffic. These are normal driving maneuver, and so much more. Emergencies and night driving is skid control, reactive to emergency situation, and night driving. These are emergency and night driving. Role of driving environment, urban and suburban, residential and commercial areas are different, highways, freeways, and various road conditions. Driving in normal situation, again, off-street areas, railroad crossing, on bridges, through tunnels, and toll plaza. These are in driving normal situation. In adverse conditions will be various road surfaces, wet surfaces, sand-covered roadways, road shoulders, obstruction and barricades, snow and ice, limited physical duty weather. These are driving in adverse conditions. Keep this in mind. As you can see, there's multiple conditions when it comes to driving. Instructors are expected to know about these situations and to be able to teach them to the students if time and interest are present. Details on the skill maneuver in this section are not provided. Including them here would make this document so large that it would be inconvenient to use. A driver education textbook should be used to fill in the details. There's so many other, obviously sections that they cannot talk about it. It's obviously a lot. If you try to just talk about basic driving skills and basically talk about the traffic rules and regulation, it's gonna be like the whole book, and it's a lot of information that it's hard to teach. So they basically nitpick it on important information, obviously. Preactive procedure and basic control. Well, safe operation of a vehicle begins with observation. Through observation, the driver learns what is going on inside and outside the vehicle. The driver uses this information in making pre-driving and driving decisions. Before starting the engine, the student must find the best seating position and learn to adjust the driver's seat, mirrors, headset, and etc. Loose objects must be secured so they do not fly around in case of a sudden stop or collision. The student must learn and rely on basic techniques and skills needed for starting and controlling a vehicle safety. This part of the instruction gives the student a sense of various adjustment of the control affect the motion of the vehicle. and why this is so important when mixing with other traffic on the roadway. Again, observation, they talk about outside the vehicle, the student must learn to check around the vehicle for hazards, making sure tires are properly inflated, windshields and lights are clean, etc. Inside the vehicle, before starting the engine, observation and it continues through the driving until safely parking the vehicle and turning off the engine. This part right here, they'll ask, this is when we first got our license. Some instructors might teach, some instructors might not. But a lot of instructors might tell you, when before you sit in the car with the instructor, make sure you fix the mirror, make sure you fix the two left hand side driver's side mirror, right hand side passenger side mirror. Make sure you go around the vehicle, make sure everything is checked, everything's okay. Then you put the blinker on, you go to the left. The reason for that is basically the driver instructor is basically using this format from this textbook and giving you points on this. Hence why we get graded on it. It's very important. The reason they're teaching you this, now you're going to become an instructor and you're going to be teaching other students, they will be putting more pressure on you, so keep this in mind. Inside the vehicle, before starting the engine, observation and it continues through the driving until safety parking the vehicle and turning off the engine. Inside the still stationary vehicle, the student must become sufficiently familiar with the location and function of the various systems and controls to be able to use them while driving and maintaining attention to the driving environment at the same time. General visual observation, auditory observation, olfactory observation, traffic observation, observation of traffic control, vehicle observation. Learning problems, constant eye movement, and looking well ahead. That's some of the learning problems. Well, there's more obviously, but this is some of them. Preoperative action. In the first lesson, the students need to learn and practice preoperative action that reduce the risk while driving. Outside the vehicle, make certain that there's a clear path of travel. Obviously, you want to check that. Check condition of the vehicle, for example, tires and lights. Obviously, make sure you check that, especially when driving in the night. Inside the vehicle, secure loose items, especially while you're driving, and fasten and adjust the safety devices equipment, which is your seatbelt. Every vehicle has unique positioning of gauges and controls. The new driver must become familiar with the vehicle system and control before driving the vehicle. The comfort control, the movement control, the visibility and protective control, informational control, air conditioning, seat position control, etc. These are all controls. Basically, learning to drive a car with everything in it. Basically, that's what they mean. Adjust driver seat position and headset. Learning problems. Tension and pressure, improper seating position, starting the engine. Place key in ignition, the turn key clockwise, release key immediately after engine starts. Let engine idle for 15 to 20 seconds before putting the vehicle in motion. Learning problems. Release the key too soon or too late. A lot of people have a problem even starting the engine. A lot of new students, because they never drove a car before. For them, it's like riding a bike. When they ride a bike first, they're never going to learn. They don't know how to pedal, they don't know how to do it. It's the same thing with the vehicle. Keep that in mind. With that being said, that's about it. I'm going to finish from here. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to finish from here, but afterwards, we'll cover more in parts. Thank you again, guys. If you guys have any other questions, comment, concern, please comment, like, subscribe. I'll try my best to help you out as much as possible. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you.